This value hotel in Disney World has one of the best perks you can find: access to the Disney Skyliner. This is a crash course in Disney's Pop Century Resort so that you can decide if a stay here is right for you and know what to expect from this hotel if you do decide to stay here. Pop Century is themed around the decades 1950s to 1990s with over 2,800 rooms. Woo, big one. It's located in the Disney's Hollywood Studios area, right on the Skyliner line, sharing a Skyliner station with Disney's Art of Animation Resort. Now this is a value hotel, which means value prices, not as many amenities. But there are a few Disney perks that you get no matter what Disney hotel you stay at. A stay at Pop Century will net you early theme park entry, so any day that you want to go into a theme park, you can get in 30 minutes before it opens to regular guests. If it says it opens at 9, you can get in at 8:30. You also have access to the Disney dining plan if your stay is after January 9th, 2024. You can get that added onto your stay so that you prepay for all your food. On top of that, you do get free overnight parking at your hotel as well as free parking at the theme parks. And if you would rather use Disney transportation, you get access to that free Disney transportation. We're gonna start our crash course talking about the most important part of a stay at any hotel, the rooms. The rooms at Pop Century are on the small side at 260 square feet with 2 queen beds, one of which is a Murphy bed or 1 king bed. Now these rooms were refurbished in 2017 and 2018, so they have updated furnishings, including those Murphy beds, which makes it a lot easier to make the most out of a more economical amount of space. Now these rooms are designed for function. They are of course comfortable. They also are on the smaller side. Chances are if you're staying in a Disney World value hotel, you're not planning to spend a ton of time in your room. That is not to say that these rooms are tiny. They are a reasonable size. They've got really great furnishings and super cute Disney details. In 2023, rooms at this hotel started at just $174 per night. You could see it go lower if there were any specialty deals, and of course go higher depending on if you got a preferred room or depending on the date, holidays being the most expensive. The price for these rooms is definitely on the lower side as Disney hotels go. The only cheaper hotels are the All-Star Resorts, Disney's most value hotels. But I actually really love Pop Century because I think it has some amazing theming and you get that value price and you still get access to the Disney Skyliner, which we're coming up on. So let's talk about transportation. Up ahead of me, you'll see gondolas from the Disney Skyliner flying low over the lake. It's very beautiful. I think the Skyliner is a really pretty addition to the views at Pop Century. You do share a Skyliner station here with Disney's Art of Animation Resort. And first thing in the morning, around the time the park opens, or when the park closes, you might find a little bit longer lines. But the Skyliner is pretty smooth going, and typically those lines move pretty fast. This gondola system has been around Disney World for a few years, and it's a great way to access Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney's Riviera Resort, and Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. I absolutely love the Skyliner. It is so easy, so practical to get around, but it does have a pretty big pitfall. If you're considering a stay at Disney's Pop Century Resort, the Skyliner can be a major plus, but just be warned that the Skyliner cannot operate in heavy rain or wind. So it's pretty common, especially during the rainy season, which is about half the year here in Florida, spring and summer. The Skyliner will go down pretty regularly. When that happens, Disney will dispatch buses to get you to Epcot or Hollywood Studios or wherever you might want to go, but it can definitely be a lot slower and a lot less convenient than the Skyliner would be. I've heard some folks say that the Skyliner is scary because of the height situation. If that's the case for you, this might not be the hotel for you because they do not always run buses to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, only when the Skyliner goes down. We're coming up on the Skyliner station, and as you can see, most times a day it's pretty empty. You might just be behind 1 or 2 families to get on a Skyliner and head off. And you can see this is where we are. So this is where that Skyliner station is. This is a pretty sizable resort with almost 3,000 rooms. So it's definitely a bit of a walk to get from some areas of the resort to the other. If you're gonna take the Skyliner, that Skyliner station is here in the center. Buses are here in the center. So the furthest from both is going to be these very far room in the 50s section, and even further the 80s section all the way over here, and the 90s. If you aren't headed somewhere where the Skyliner goes or the Skyliner is down, you will be taking the bus. Disney has buses that run every 15 to 20 minutes from that bus station in front of the lobby building, and you can take those buses to get to Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom or Disney Springs or anywhere else you might want to go. Typically, a bus ride from Pop Century to anywhere is about 15 minutes, so it's really not a hassle, but if you are trying to get around Disney World, whether you're taking the Skyliner, a bus, whatever, I highly recommend allowing an hour to get from point A to point B. You never know when something might go wrong. It can take a long time to get into the park to try to get to a dining reservation or a lightning lane. So just allow an hour just to be safe. But enough about transportation, let's talk about activities at this hotel. As a value hotel, there aren't going to be as many activities and amenities as you might find at a moderate or a deluxe, but that doesn't mean there isn't a ton of fun to be had here. This is my favorite running trail of the Disney hotels, which I know is a weird thing to have, especially considering I hate running, but it is 1.3 miles around the lake, and the reason I like it so much is that one, there's a lot to look at between the theming of Pop Century and Art of Animation. You run through both, and on the sides of the lake, on the Pop Century side, while you're running along the trail, you can read facts along a timeline of things that happened in the different years. And then on the Art of Animation side, you can read fun facts about the movies that are represented at the hotel. So it gives you something to do while you run. And I really hate running, but I do like a walk. And I like to read fun facts while I walk. There are 3 pools at Pop Century. The main one is going to be located in the 1960s section right in front of the lobby building. This is Hippy Dippy Pool. Hippy Dippy Pool features a splash pad for kiddos as well as a pretty large pool that you can swim around in. Music is playing all day long, and this is where the recreation staff will sometimes host poolside games as well. The Disney parks are fun, but a lot of times all your kiddos will want is to spend some time at the pool. And I think they'll enjoy Hippy Dippy Pool a lot. But that's not the only pool you're stuck with here. Now, a value hotel might not seem as exciting as an adult, but for kiddos, the value hotels have larger than life theming that can feel really exciting and very Disney. Pop Century, each section has Disney characters from films that were made in that decade. So you're in the 1960s section, you got Mowgli and Baloo. We'll check out some of that larger than life theming as we head over to see the other pools too. When you're at a pool at your Disney resort, you should also check out the recreation activities board. These are signs that are usually hanging outside the pool to let you know exactly the kind of recreation you can find. Sometimes you might find Mickey tie-dye, or to let you know about the movie Under the Stars. At all Disney hotels, weather permitting, they do a movie on the lawn where you can watch a Disney film every night, a different one. It's usually at 8:30. And I think here at Pop Century, takes place right behind me. This is definitely a very themed hotel, a very Disney hotel. There's lots of statues of Disney characters around for you to take photos with. There's lots of statues of toys and things that you can also check out. There's a huge foosball table up ahead where you can pretend to be the ball. If you are planning to stay at Pop Century, just be warned that a preferred room is often going to be a louder room because it will be located by Hippy Dippy, but there are a lot of rooms that are kind of on the sides of the building, like we see here, that are a whole lot quieter. You'll also notice that those rooms have exterior hallways, so if you're walking to the lobby, walking your car, and it's raining out, you're gonna get soaked. My favorite section of the hotel is the 80s section because I love Pac-Man. I'm very good at Pac-Man, and I love Rubik's Cubes. I actually solved a Rubik's Cube when I stayed here, just like in the spirit of the 80s section. But we found another one of those pools. Now, there are 2 pools that are not Hippy Dippy are going to be your quieter ones. These are off to the sides. One is over in the 50s section, and it is the bowling pool. And the other is here in the 80s and 90s section, and it's the computer pool. You see this keyboard on the ground? Well, the pool is the screen. There's like floppy disks. It's very nostalgic. And that's really the whole shebang when it comes to activities here. A lot of times values are going to be the hotel you pick if you don't tend to spend a lot of time at the hotel. If you're planning on spending most of your time in the parks and just need someone to lay your head and take a dip in the pool one day as a rest, and Pop Century's got you covered. Also, I see families all the time running around here having a great time even without a bunch of like planned recreation or activity options. And our final section is going to be food. There are a ton of options for food at Pop Century, but I really like the options they have. This is everything pop shopping and dining. The first part when you walk in is going to be a little bit of a merchandise spot, but if you keep going, you'll find Pop Century's food court. This is the only full restaurant at this hotel. It's a very large hotel, so it's a very large full food court. There's tons of seating inside in the air conditioning. There's some seating outside as well, and it's got that fun retro theme to it too. When you get into the food court, you'll find a lot of standard food court offerings like specialty coffee and ice cream. They've got burgers and grilled chicken sandwiches, chicken strips. They've also got pizza, pasta. There's macaroni and cheese right now. And then they even have create your own meals where you can pick your meat and your sides. So lots of options. I have found that I enjoy the food at Disney food courts. The food courts do have mobile order, but I would recommend coming and checking out the menus in person because in my experience, I've seen that they have a lot more options on the physical menus than on mobile order. There's also a really big grab and go section here, so if you just need something for your room, you got water, you got salads, you just want to grab stuff, you can do that right over here. I might grab something, I'm very thirsty, which is not what ice cream fixes, but what if I want ice cream? I got a water, I also got a pickle, so that's my meal. Thanks everything, Pop. All right, I ate my pickle. I have my water, feeling energized. Ready to take on the final things you need to know about this hotel. The winner there is going to be the tie-dye cheesecake. That is a dessert that is special to this hotel. It looks like Play-Doh and it tastes like dreams. It's just pretty good cheesecake, honestly. And I think you have to get it if you stay here and you like cheesecake. The other place that you can grab something is Pedal's Pool Bar. So only the main pool has a pool bar at the values. That's pretty typical. And you can get mostly drinks here. They don't really have any eats on the menu at the moment. Oh yeah, they do. It's over there. But really, you're so close to the food court that you could go grab anything your heart desires in there. One of my favorite things about staying at a value is getting to know the pool bartenders because it's one of the only stops, so you're there a lot, at least in my experience. Now, that's the basics. But now that you know what you need to know about Pop Century, we need to decide if you should get booking or keep looking. You should get booking if you're trying to save some money but want to make your trip to the park a whole lot easier with that Skyliner. You can also book if you've got a lot of love for nostalgia. This hotel is really awesome and it takes you back to some of the decades. And finally, you should book if you plan to spend a lot of time at Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios. Those two parks are super accessible from here, a whole lot more accessible than Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. You should keep looking if you plan to spend more time at Magic Kingdom. It is pretty far from here, that bus ride. Not as fun as a Skyliner ride. And there's a lot closer hotels, albeit more expensive. You should also keep looking if you've got a fear of heights because the Skyliner is no good for that. And those buses do not always run to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which can make it very tricky to get around. Or you should keep looking if you are truly looking to save. Though this hotel is a value hotel, there is cheaper with Disney's All-Star Resorts. And you can get even cheaper than the All-Stars if you decide to stay in a Good Neighbor hotels. These are hotels on Disney's property, not operated by Disney, where you can stay for a whole lot cheaper and even still get some of the Disney perks. And if there's anything in this video that you want to learn more about, you want to see more of the rooms in depth, you want to see more of the activities, amenities, pools, anything more in depth, you can check out my full tour of Disney's Pop Century Resort where I go fully into detail about this hotel. Hopefully this has helped you decide if Pop Century is right for you. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and now go watch my full tour of Disney's Pop Century Resort. I'll see you there!